I want to talk about Michael Irvin. Now, admittedly, for good or better, I'm a long-suffering Cowboys fan. Okay. But it was always Michael Irvin's mindset once I heard about it that really stood out to me. We talk about greatness and what it takes, and sometimes greatness doesn't come from fancy things, right? It doesn't come from fancy rituals or secret routines. Sometimes it comes from remembering where you started. Before every game, before every catch, every hit, every roar of the crowd, Hall of Famer Michael Irvin sat down with a simple bowl of cereal. Not for energy, not for nutrition, but for remembrance. See, when Michael was a kid, his family couldn't afford milk. So every morning, he poured water over his cereal. That's what breakfast looked like. Survival, not luxury. So years later, when he sat in his NFL locker, before the game, before the national broadcast, he didn't eat cereal to fill his stomach. He did it to fill his spirit. He said that cereal reminded him of his journey, of what it took to get here, of the hunger that didn't come from food, but from faith. The bowl wasn't a meal so much as it was a mirror, a reflection of the struggle that built his strength. Success has a way of making you forget. Makes you forget the hunger, forget the fear, forget the prayers you once whispered in the dark, forget the desperation. But Michael Irvin refused to forget. He ate cereal with water, even when he could afford the finest steak, to remind himself, never forget what it took to get here. That's why gratitude isn't weakness, it's fuel. It's what keeps you grounded when success tries to make you soft. It's what reminds you that you didn't get here alone and that you're not done yet. Another interesting thing about Michael Irvin was his career ended. It wasn't because he quit. It wasn't because he slowed down. It ended because life and football took everything he had to give. He literally left it all on the field. His final play ended with him flat on his back, a spinal injury that could have ended his life. As he was carried off the field on the stretcher, he said later, "That was the only way it was ever going to end. I was going to be carried off of my shield." And that's the Warrior's creed. You don't get to choose how it ends. You don't get to choose when it ends, but you get to choose how much of yourself you give before it does. That's the paradox of greatness. Gratitude keeps you humble. Grit keeps you hungry. And when you combine the two, you get a person who refuses to quit even the world tells him to stop. Michael Irvin's cereal wasn't about breakfast. It was about battle readiness. It was about his daily reminder that comfort kills hunger and hunger builds greatness. So, whatever your field is, sports, business, sales, leadership, you need both memory and mission. Remember the days when you worked just to survive? I remember my $7.50 an hour days. I remember them very well. Remember the people who helped you eat when you had nothing? I remember the friends who came and got me when my raggedy car broke down. Because when success finally arrives, you only keep it if you remember what it cost to get it. That's why Michael's stories matter. He didn't lose himself in the lights. He kept the same mindset that got him there. Gratitude for the past, grit for the present, glory for the finish. So tomorrow morning, when you start your day, before the meetings, the calls, the grind, take a moment to remember your own version of that cereal. Maybe it's the couch you used to sleep on. Maybe it's that first rejection that turned into a win. Maybe it's the moment you promised you'd never go back to. Whatever it is, remember it. Be thankful for where you are today. Be thankful for the journey. Be thankful for the fight. Because gratitude keeps you grounded. Grit today in the moment keeps you growing. And glory, that belongs to those who never forget where they came from and refuse to stop until they carry it out on their shield. So lace them up, baby. It's time to go play some ball.